Hi drummers, hope you're well. Shout out to channel member Alison. This is of course ACDC, Back in Black. And so on, and this is obviously a video just aimed at beginners, and shout out to Alison who's just looking at this one, and any sort of beginner or anybody who's picked up a pair of drumsticks and started to play. This is one of the first songs, certainly in the lessons I teach, that we jam along to. All I'm going to talk about here is the main groove, and then the ba-baah, 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 da-da-da, the bit that Alison asked about. She said, what is the count for it? Can I explain the count? She's trying to play it by ear, but having a little bit of difficulty. And this is a funny thing, actually, because I get why this is such an attractive song for people starting off on the drums, because as soon as you've mastered a basic rock beat, right, as soon as you can go, you're away, aren't you? But then there is that little sort of funky syncopated moment, ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. And you know, what we normally say to people is, just play it by ear. You know, there's no sort of trick in there. It is what it sounds like, da 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 da, and the drums just mirror what the guitar is doing. But it's not always, if you near the start of playing the drums, it's not always that instinctive to pick it up. I'm just going to talk you through that moment. So we crash in and we play 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 this time. So it's on the fourth bar, isn't it? Now, when you get to the fourth bar, your count, right, in a straight eighths groove is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So in that bar, you go 1 and, everything as normal so far. 2 is the snare drum on its own. And then you've got that like trashy hi-hat and bass drum together. Now you do that move of snare drum and then trashy hi-hat with kick 3 times. And then you do your 2 snares. So 1 and. Okay, so let's run that one time. Here we go, 1 and. Here's the bar again, 1 and. Now, Alison said, can you put a count to it? You can. Like almost always, I'd sort of encourage people not to here. You've got to get a bit of feel going here. Hear the thing, feel the thing. But the count, if you like, is 1 and then based on 16ths, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So 1 and 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. One time real slow. 1 and based on 16ths, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and. I think the count when you're starting off on the drums almost certainly complicates it more than you need to. Basically 3 instances of and then, okay. The big thing to remember is the first snare drum. When you do, the first snare drum is on beat 2, and that is where it would be anyway. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here it comes. 1 and 2. And 3 and here we go. 1 and. So what we'll often do actually in a session is just do a 1 bar loop of groove. And then that moment, right? I'll do that now. 1 and 3 and 4. Here we go. 1 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here it comes. 1 and. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... So I hope that helps a little bit. Yeah, you can count it. I would feel the thing. What an amazing thing for someone starting off on the drums to play and enjoy playing. It's an interesting little challenge, I think, doing that by ear. And shout out to Alison and everybody who I've pretty much ever taught on the drums. We'll look at that quite near the start. And I know sometimes he goes to the crash cymbal. Phil Rudd plays on the crash as well. Sometimes, but the point is when you just start and you want that groove to be absolutely locked in and grooving along, and then that ba-boom, 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 ba-ba moment to really sit. Remember, 1 and the first snare drum hit is 2. Can't repeat it enough times. That's the moment where people get confused in my experience most often. 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, here it comes. 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1. That is it, man. That is it. So roll it, 1 bar groove, 1 bar fill. Now what I'll do on the channel members page, as usual, I'll put 2 different loops down. I'll put 1 loop where it's 3 bars of groove, and then that 1 bar of ba-bum, 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 ba-ba, just like it does on the record. It's showing my age in the song. And then I'll do 1 where it's the drill. We'll do 1 bar of groove, 1 bar with that little moment. You can drill it and repeat it and get a feel for it. Amazing tune, of course. And of course, there's more to the song than that. But that's the moment to get your head around when you're first starting, I think. So nice little basic one today. Have some fun with it. Let me know how you get on. Shout out to Alison for a great question. And shout out to anyone I've ever taught the drums to, or anyone who's ever started off and just thought, yeah, I'll give that a go. It sounds like fun. Let me know how you get on. Cheers.